Morning everybody, it's Brenna. So I'm going to try my best and make sure this doesn't sound like a 90s rom-com, but I have to set the stage for my discussions to come, and my setting right now is my university. I'm in college, I'm just finishing up my first semester, and I've been having the time of my life. Since I landed on the island in August, I've been doing a lot more to take care of myself. I eat better, I exercise more, and I have people around me that amaze me every day. These people have been the biggest impact on my actions and happiness more than any other factor in my new situation. And so that's what I want to talk about today. I know it's only my first semester in college, but the business program I'm in has brought us together and we stick together like flypaper. Most of us have 3 or 4 classes with each other, and it really helped us all with academic and social transitions into college. So I'm going to start with the person closest to me in the most literal way, my roommate. I'm going to use code names for my friends until and unless I get their permission to use their names in public domain, so let's call my roommate Jennifer. I first met Jennifer at 10 o'clock the night before my orientation, and I could already tell that I was going to be the messy roommate in comparison to her. All of my clothes, books, pens, shoes, everything she had was already in an arrangement in her room that looked like a page out of the Pier 1 catalog. We were kind of quiet that first night, but within a week we were good friends. She was pretty much the personification of the color yellow. She's always warm and smiley and positive about everything. What's funny about her, though, is the fact that she lives with me. I'm by nature a somber person, and I have a darker sense of humor, and I, wear combat boots that are falling apart at the seams. So when we walk to class together, it looks kind of odd. She even recently chopped off 8 inches of her waist-length hair, too, so now we have the same haircut but with very different styles. But I'm just really lucky to have such an awesome roommate. In our classes, though, Jennifer and I met the rest of our little group. The first person that I met from them, though, was a girl named Aurora, and we call her Rory. It's kind of weird to say, but I knew from our first conversation that we were going to be friends because she reminded me of one of my friends back home in Vegas. She's really into musical theater, and she's really proud to be from Seattle, and she often goes on about her memories from home and about how much she misses it. Despite that, though, she's very ambitious and has big plans for her future, which is admirable, but sometimes we have to remind her to slow down a little bit and to remind her that there's time for work and time for fun, and that she can do both. Other than that, though, Rory's kind of been my counterpart and an introduction to another group of friends I'll talk about in another video. When we talk, we balance each other out because Rory is very passionate and opinionated, and I like to play devil's advocate. This doesn't seem to work for the people watching us argue sometimes, though, because we have dark hair, green eyes, and pale skin, so it looks like we're one of the same. But we're not. We're just 2 very different forces of nature that happen to look similar. The next person I met was a girl called Janelle, and I really don't have a better word to describe Janelle other than the word tender. I said that Jennifer, my roommate, was warm and felt like the color yellow, but Janelle just feels like gold. Not to say that she's better than Jennifer, but Jennifer's presence feels like dispersed sunshine, and Janelle's presence feels purer and driven, like soft gold, something that's strong but is also very malleable and still very nice. Both are good, but they're different. Anyway, Janelle is so friendly and amiable towards everyone that you can't help but love her. To take a quote from The Great Gatsby, the way Janelle talks to people makes you, quote, feel as if, well, she's inexplicably prejudiced in your favor, end quote. As a person, though, she's a dedicated student, an artist, and a worshiper. Along with keeping up in school, Janelle is an awesome digital artist, and she churns out at least one new drawing every day, and each time I'm amazed with the detailing she gets into a quick sketch in the back of a religion's notebook that she doesn't even plan on putting out there. She paints by hand as well, and she's even helped Rory and I get better at our artsy things, though I don't do drawing and painting as much as they do. Janelle is also one of the most dedicated and open-minded religious people I've ever met. She's often rearranged her schedule, and she works overtime to make sure she can direct her Bible club and go to church twice a week. However, she doesn't exude that holier-than-thou mentality that has alienated me in the past. I like to listen to her talk about church because she loves it, but she doesn't force it on other people. We can relate instead of compete, and she's just very wonderful all around. Through Janelle, I met Nicole, and Nicole is unlike just about everything else. She's punchy and she's determined and she's just a little bit more ballsy than us that makes but just that amount that makes us kind of question if she cares anymore about what people think of her, which I guess she doesn't, but she says what needs to be said sometimes. She's cheeky in a way that isn't arrogant or rude, and she's honest in a way that can make my eyes widen, but only at the things that, you know what, I really shouldn't be hiding in the first place. I don't know how she's so wise and yet so sassy at our age, but I feel like she's going to be one awesome senile old lady one day. Nicole's been through a lot this semester, and it's not my business to air her personal information online. But I will say that despite a lot of trouble from forces she couldn't control, Nicole has kept her head up. She works so hard to keep up in school, to keep up her job, and to manage her relationships with everyone that I'm surprised that she's not completely exhausted. She's helped me a lot too, even with her own stuff going on. Like, for example, my ex-boyfriend left me a couple months ago, and during that time when I was really bummed out about it, she was there to pat my back and to just let me be sad until I was ready to talk about it and to push it behind me, because she knew how I felt. I'm in a better place than she is too, but I'm just glad that we're friends. She's a really great person, and I hope that we don't lose touch as our paths may separate. I would really love to make sure that she stuck around.
So these three people and I form a group that we call the girls because we are somewhat of the main unit that the next people that I'm going to talk about go around, and now because of that I get to introduce you to Jake. To be true to his personality, the first thing that you need to know about him is that he's from the Bay, which means that he's from San Francisco and from a specific area code that he's super proud of, but one that I can't remember for the life of me. Upon first meeting him, I thought he'd just be a huge jerk in my business class that I'd have to compete with, because he wears a lot of muscle tees and a snapback 24/7, but he's actually really cool once you get to know him. I was a little bit quick to judge him that way. Jake has a lot of big plans, and he's got a gorgeous girlfriend back home, and he usually carries himself with a mean face that deters a lot of people. But he's always full of ideas, and he's down for going anywhere at any time. More importantly, though, he's got a knack for suggesting that we, meaning it could it could be the girls, or it could be me and Jennifer, or it could just be Jennifer. But whenever, he's got a knack for suggesting that we go hang out, like, right at the moment when I finish taking my makeup off. And sometimes I just want to smack him for doing that to me. But anyway, Jake and Jennifer are really close, and they go to the gym together a lot, and we call him our son since we live together, and we're the ones to usually tell him no to his crazy plans. To be honest, I really haven't had a good dude friend in a while, and I forgot how nice it is to have a male presence around. And not just to deter creepy dudes like in Waikiki, but kind of just to balance out all the estrogen that goes between our group of girls. Now, there's one more person that I need to introduce to you before I tell you all the story about how we all became friends in the first place. There's one more person, and his name is Dylan. And to describe Dylan, I think that the best way to say it is that he's what I think anybody would imagine the Hawaiian island boy to be like. He comes from Milani, and he went to the same high school that my mom went to. And he's just a very chill person. He speaks in pidgin a lot of the time, and he's just very comforting to be around. We don't get to hang out with him, but because he works so much, he has a job on campus. But it's really nice to hang out with him, and even though what we usually end up talking about is like how much we all need to nap, but I think he needs to nap more than everybody else, so I kind of feel bad for him that way. But he's really nice. He's got a really nice girlfriend back in Milani, and he has had a lot of impact on getting all of us to get along with each other, because there's a lot of strong personalities in the group, so I'm very grateful for him. Now, I know that I've framed all of these characterizations in a certain way so that it sounds like a story. So here's the story of our first little adventure as friends. As a group, we had all had our microeconomics midterm coming up in September, and we weren't all that close, but as a group we decided to study together in a room in the library where we could discuss and practice things. We spent 4 hours in that room, and when we were done, we were really frustrated, and so Jake suggested that we all go to McDonald's, but when we got outside of the library, we figured out that it was raining cats and dogs, like there were streams going down the road. After looking for a bus to take us instead and failing at that, we all decided to cook a bunch of ramen and rice and eat it at the top of one of the dorm towers.
we ate and talked about our lives, and that was really the point where I could see all of us being friends, not just me being friends with certain people or certain people just going around with each other. I knew that we would be close together. And I know my video is coming to an end, so here's a final look. As per usual, I'll list my products at the end of the video description, but I hope you like it and have a great week.